two, count them, two Easter desserts for you. Hi, I'm Susan. Today I am very honored to be participating in a collab with Anna of Anna's Home Cooking. We are doing Easter. She's doing Easter sides and I'm doing Easter desserts. And I have two desserts that are so good for Easter. One is a non-chocolate, which is coconut cake, and then I've got a chocolate peanut butter cheesecake. I can't wait to get started. Anna is such a wonderful, wonderful person, and I enjoy her content on her videos very much. She is so sweet. She's got the cutest kids, and I highly recommend you go check out her channel. So, without further ado, let's get started. I've got my oven preheating to 350 degrees. I melted 1/3 of a stick of butter. And to that, I'm going to add 1.5 cups of vanilla wafer crumbs. And I just beat these in a Ziploc bag. And a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. And 1/4 cup of cocoa. These together. And the vanilla wafer crumbs, there's about 45 of them. I want to bake this for 8 minutes and I'll be back. Alright, my crust is done, and while that's cooling I'm going to make my filling. I've got 3 blocks of 8-ounce cream cheese, and to that I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, and we just want to blend that. Beat that real good till it's smooth and creamy. Alright, that's smooth and creamy. Now I have my cream cheese had been softened. I've left it on the counter overnight. And now to that, I'm adding 3 eggs, 3 large eggs. A 1/3 cup of sour cream. Three tablespoons of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we want to beat this really good. Until it's well blended. Alright, that looks good. Now I've got a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips and a cup of peanut butter chips, and I'm going to melt these in the microwave. The chocolate's melted and I've got my peanut butter chips melting. It took about a minute in the microwave. Now I'm going to dip 1/2 of this cheesecake batter into another bowl. Melted chocolate to it. mix it in. Alright. It did take my peanut butter chips a little longer, but they were in the freezer. And now I just want to add it to the rest of the batter. And mix that in. Now I've got my crust. And to that, I'm going to gently add the chocolate cheesecake batter over the top. Yes, you guessed it. The peanut butter goes on top of the chocolate. And you want to do it carefully. You do not want to mix it. You just want it to be separate. I'd make these at Christmas time for family. Cheesecake. I love cheesecake anyway. I just want to gently smooth this out. And it screams Easter. You got peanut butter and chocolate, just like a Reese's cup. Reese's egg. And I'm going to bake this. It says 50 to 55 minutes. I'll check it a little bit sooner. You want the center to be almost set, not completely set. You don't want to overcook. And I'm going to cook it in a water bath. So I'm just going to wrap the bottom of my pan in foil, and I'm going to set it in a pan and then put the pan in the oven and add hot water to the pan. Try not to get it into your cheesecake. And let it bake, and that'll help it not to crack. I'll see you back here when it's done. Here it is. See how it just barely jiggles in the middle? I'm gonna let this cool. Then I'm gonna take a spatula and go around the edges to loosen it up and cover it and put it in the refrigerator so it can chill. And I will see you back then. Now we got it out. All right, now we just want to top it with some fudge sauce. And there she is. I've already baked my cake and I just used a cake mix. I used it doing my bakery cake that I have listed in my description box down below. And I'll list it in the iCards as well. And you can also, what my friend Miss Joyce does is she just makes the cake just like the mix says, but she uses buttermilk instead of milk, and it makes it real good and tender. So I cooked it this morning and I cooled it, and now I'm making the filling for my coconut cake. And this is Miss Joyce's recipe. She's a lady at my church, and she makes a wonderful coconut cake. I'm always excited when she makes it. And this is her filling, and it reminds me so much of my grandmother's coconut cake. My grandmother used to do them with the coconuts, and she gave me the recipe, but she was one of those cooks that she just threw it in. She knew how much to do it, and she tried to write out the recipe, but it didn't turn out right. So to my 6-ounce bags of frozen coconut that's been thawed, I'm going to add 8 ounces of sour cream, which is about a cup. And this just makes it so moist. I've got a half a cup of sugar, and I've got a half a cup of cream of coconut. And we're just going to mix that all together. Now this is going to go in between the layers. Set that aside. All right. I'm going to take a long serrated bread knife, and I'm going to cut. I did 2 layers, and I'm just going to slice through this cake to make 2 layers. Put that down, and I'm going to spoon about 1/3 of this filling onto my layer. This will seep down in there, and it will do so good. Now, I'm going to put the there we go. That on there. And now I'm going to add some more. What I have left. Set that aside, and now I'm going to slice this one in half. Poke some holes in there just to let some of this filling seep through. And try to catch what's going down. And now I want to put this layer back on top. Sit there until I do my 7-minute frosting. Okay, I'm going to cut my eye on and get my water to boiling. say a little prayer because that eye is broken, that one doesn't work, and my mixer won't reach the other two. So I have got 1.5 cups of sugar. To that, I'm going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. And this is the icing my mom always made for her coconut cake. I need 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, a 1/3 cup of water, and 2 egg whites. And I'm going to beat this for 1 minute right here, and then I'm going to add it to my boiling water. You don't want you can use a double boiler if you have to, if you have one. And I only have these metal bowls for this, and it works out great. You just don't want your water touching the bottom of the bowl, so you don't put a lot of water in there. But I'm going to mix it for a minute here, and then I'm going to switch it and beat it here for 7 minutes. So it's a long process. So fingers crossed, say a prayer, and let's get started. I want to add 1.5 teaspoons of pure vanilla flavoring, and mix that in. All right. Thank you for the prayers because it turned out good. Now all we need to do is frost the tops and the sides and add our flaked coconut. See how thick? Put it on top and just let it ooze down. See, as bad as that cake looked before, this will cover up a lot of ugliness. And my daddy always said the uglier cake looks, the better it tastes. And if you don't want to do the 7-minute frosting, you can always use like the Cool Whip frosting that's in the frozen food section, and then just ice it, then put the coconut on it later. That is good also. Coconut. And I'm using sweetened coconut because it is Easter. And you just want to sprinkle it all over the cake and down up the sides. There she is. I think she looks gorgeous. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you hadn't. Ring that bell so you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And until next time, bye. Bye, y'all.